Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started. Can everyone hear me? Is my voice projecting loud enough?
Yeah.
Okay, a little louder? Is this good enough? Wait, who said that?
Yeah.
Okay, you can hear me? Okay, can you hear me now? Yeah. Okay, perfect. Okay, so good evening, everyone. My name is Willie White III. I'm a graduating senior. Honors Political Science and Sociology, double major from Blacksburg, Georgia, and I proudly serve as this year's 2025-2026 Howard University Elections Commissioner. So I want to welcome everyone to the HUSA Executive Speakouts. So before we get into all of that, first I want you to give all of our lovely candidates a round of applause. Context on how this event will run. The Speakout is designed to allow candidates to share their platforms and plans for their desired position within the student body. It is also an important opportunity for the student body to get to know the candidates in a more intimate setting beyond just the campaign posters and flyers you see on Instagram. To be clear on how this will run, I will be asking all of the candidates 6 general questions that only one of the candidates grouped in the slates will respond to unless I say otherwise. After that, we will go into specific questions for presidents, and then another set of specific questions for vice presidents. And then after that, we will conclude with audience questions. Does that sound good to everyone? Sound good to y'all? Okay, so before we get into the real questions, first I'm going to give the candidates about 30 seconds to introduce themselves, state the position they are running for, and tell us about their platform. I'm going to start with you.
Good evening. My name is Jeremy Allman. I am a junior honors political science major, strategic legal, and mass communications minor, running to be your next Howard University Student Association Executive President.
Good evening. My name is Brianna Moa. I'm a junior honors criminology major, political science minor from Orlando, Florida, running to be your next Howard University Student Association Executive Vice President. Under our platform,
All in. Going all in to make sure your Howard University experience is not a gamble. Thank you.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Leah Peterson. I am a junior honors economics major, mushroom minor from Fort Worth, Texas, and I'm humbly vying to be your next president of the HUSA Executive Branch for the 66th administration. Hello, everyone. My name is Gael Pierre. I am a junior legal communications major, sports administration minor from Boston, Massachusetts, by way of Katie, and I'm vying to be your next HUSA Executive Vice President. Running under our platform, Howard Forever, Howard Today, Howard Tomorrow, Howard Forever, with our pillars, access forever, culture forever, safety forever, housing forever, and spirit forever. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Kennedy II. I am a junior computer science major from Miami, Florida, and I am running to be your next Howard University Student Association Executive President.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Nadia Smith. I am a junior political science major, strategic legal and management communications minor from the Bay Area of California, and I'm running to be your next Howard University Student Association Executive Vice President.
And we are running on the platform, the Prime Agenda, where we are shifting leadership from event-based leadership to structural leadership. Instead of administration doing things just for that administration, we are building structure that not only will we benefit from our initiatives, but the future vice will benefit as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all so much for introducing yourselves. And just to let you know, can you try to keep applause until after they speak, just to give them time before they respond to the question. But really appreciate the excitement that you have for the candidates. So I love that. Okay, now getting into the very first question, and only one of you from each slate is going to answer this question. So campaigns focus on ideas, concepts, and an overall vision for what a candidate wants to do. But true governance requires actual execution for the campaign to have real weight and impact after an election season. So how will you ensure that the promises outlined in your platform are actually implemented? And what mechanisms will you use to hold yourself and your administration accountable to that platform? You have 1 minute to respond. I'm going to start with Keone and Mike.
Sorry. Can you repeat the question one more time? Sorry.
Okay, so campaigns focus on ideas, concepts, and an overall vision for what a candidate wants to do. The true governance requires actual execution for the campaign to have real weight and impact after an election. How will you ensure that the promises outlined in your platform are actually implemented, and what mechanisms will you use to hold yourself and your administration accountable to that platform?
Thank you for that question. So it all starts with just simply having conversations and starting the work now. I plan alongside Keone to make sure that we are implementing initiatives that directly benefit you and affect you on a daily basis. Too often do students at Howard University face barriers on an everyday basis that prevents them from having success to their full extent. So that is why we plan to have conversations in open forums with students, have conversations with you, have conversations with administration, and make guidelines and pathways for you to also have an opportunity to be in those rooms of administration. For example, we are planning on doing a fellowship where students like you and then also the student leadership will be able to work with the DC City Council as well as the university's Office of External Affairs to be able to talk with external stakeholders and get the outside resources we need for the inside. Thank you for that question.
Yeah, thank you so much for that question. I think first and foremost, when we are crafting our pillars in our platform, it's so important to make sure that what you're putting out is very well researched and tangible. A lot of times we make big promises, but there are things that we just as student leaders cannot do. And so as someone that's been a student leadership since my freshman year at Howard University, I've definitely been able to have really amazing conversations and have the privilege to be at tables with administrators and also stakeholders as well to see what can and can't be done, and also making sure that the things that I want to propose are things that can get done, and the steps forward are things that we can outline with tangible times. So that's first and foremost, that making sure that our platform is something that directly can be tangible and can be done. Two, when it just comes to holding ourselves accountable, we're building a team of people that want to do the work and that want to show up for you all, regardless of how the day is, if it's a bad day, if it's a good day, whatever it is. And that's what accountability looks like, showing up regardless of what the circumstances are. And that's the promise that we are making to you all. Someone that's served in the city government, we both have. Not every day is great, but we still are committed to the work, and that's something that I will continue will want to do as your next president and vice president for the HUSA 66 administration. Thank you.
Yes, so for our campaign, All In, we've had conversations. That's the most important thing you must do when you're running for an office, talking to those that held the office before you, but talking for the organizations that Howard University represents, talking with the Career Student Association, talking with iPads, talking with Student Affairs, and ensuring the platform to which you want to see the fruition actually gets done. Serving as president of Co-op Student Council alongside Rihanna Mowat, my vice president, we were able to complete 90% of our platform initiatives, going all in for a timeless experience, going all in to make sure that your voices are being heard, and going all in to show how it is not a gamble. Thank you so much.
So HUSA manages a significant amount of student funds, much of which comes directly from the student body, including all of you here and including yourselves as well. With that in mind, students expect that these resources are used responsibly and effectively. How will you ensure that student funds are allocated fairly, transparently, and effectively across the board? I'm going to start with y'all this time.
Thank you so much for that question. I think, just as my president, Jeremy Allman, stated, conversations are really the root of the issue. We must have conversations with student organizations, with graduate advisors, graduate students, undergraduate students, to realize what is the root of the issue. What do students need on campus to feel successful? What access to opportunities do they need to graduate in 4 years and leave our campus knowing that Howard set them up for success? Understanding what it is that students need to be successful will be the root of our success as a campus. Thank you. One of our primary functions is to handle a large part of the student activity fee fund. And so time and time again, we do see that students have very specific needs. And so definitely just bringing in, again, like they spoke about earlier, making sure that we're having conversations with students to understand what their needs are. But another big problem that we see is like a lot of overlapping of programming and initiatives between cross branches. And so something that we were very passionate about and that we were passionate about in Senate again and council as well this past year is collaborating with different organizations as well as different branches as well to make sure that funds are not just being spent unnecessarily on similar programming so that your funds are not going to waste. So it looks like collaborating with UGSA for big events with the HUSA executive. Let's like collaborate with Senate as well on their initiatives to just make them bigger within like the work that we are doing with HUSA exec. So it all looks like collaboration, having conversations and making sure that we're showing up not only just to spend funds on how we want to see them, but how you all definitely need to have the funds spent in a way that's
best beneficial for y'all and your experience here on campus.
Thank you for that question. So one of our pillars will lead, we have something called the inclusion calendar. We're going to coordinate all of our events so we're not doing events that other branches are doing as well. But secondly, you cannot trust one branch to control your own funds. You have to be able to get another branch to audit them as well and have those conversations. Because as someone who worked on the finance committee, it is very easy that stuff can get muddy and get confused. So at the end of the day, we're going to have an audit, and that's what we plan to do as well. Thank you.
Responses. Now moving on to the next question. So building a strong executive team is critical to the success of any administration. What will your team structure look like, and why do you believe this approach will be the most effective in serving the student body?
Thank you for that question. So to speak on team structure, we really want our team to have a vision and a kind of morals of really just being proactive. We want to be a proactive campaign, not a reactive one. We want to make sure that we're addressing the issues before they even start. That means having those conversations, working with administration, and getting things done. That's why we plan to work on the Bison Safe app and doing audits. Because right now it's not up to par at all. It looks a mess. And honestly, that's not okay for students, especially incoming freshmen who are new to the environment and don't know where to go. That's one example of us being proactive, but we have so many more that we are going to continue to talk about the rest of the night. Thank you.
Thank you for that question. I think it starts off with your why. Your why for wanting to be in these positions and for running a campaign. So with our team, we're going to have people who are dedicated and really wanting to do the work and have a reason. So my reason for wanting to be in student leadership is being a first generation student. And I think a lot of you all have a situation where you came to campus and you weren't navigating it correctly. And with our team, we're going to show off our pillar, Culture Forever, which really encompasses all of the different cultures and backgrounds that you come from, and just making sure that everyone's different point of views can come together to collaborate and create a dynamic environment for everyone at Howard University and successful initiatives for everyone throughout. Thank you. Community is one of the most important things that are integral to both Jeremy and I. Being the president and vice president of the College of Arts and Sciences Student Council currently, we have seen time and time again how our partnership has led to such successful initiatives, right?
Correct.
Initiatives, goals, platform points, everything with partnership at the root. Jeremy and I have shown that we are capable of working together alongside our amazing timeless family to make sure that all student experiences are prioritized in our campaign. Thank you for that.
Okay, this next question, we are going to make a small pivot. This is going to be a question that I ask every single person up here. This time I'm going to start with Howard Forever. So the question that I'm going to be asking you all is, students often ask candidates why they're pursuing student leadership. But I personally want to ask you, why have you chosen to run for this specific position out of all the positions you could have ran for? And why do students need you in this position right now? So everyone can answer Howard first.
So student government is at the forefront in service that I always just love to do, and it's a great way for me to just kind of showcase my service and love for the community in which I serve here at Howard University. Like I said, since my freshman year here, I've been committed to just serving within Senate specifically. However, I do think at times you do kind of outgrow your roles. I spent 3 years in Senate, and I'm grateful for the work that I've been able to do in Senate and the family and the legacy that I've been able to create. However, I do think that it's time, within another branch, that I'm able to also kind of carry some of those things that I've learned, while also just expanding on the role and the work that can be done within the executive branch. The roles aren't necessarily the same, so Senate's a bit more of a legislative focus. However, the executive branch is a bit more of a programming focus, so I really want to highlight that. But I do think that the skills that I brought and gained towards my role in Senate would definitely be very integral in just making sure that I have a very well-informed perspective of just being able to serve students, because we work with different organizations all the time in Senate, and so I think it's very important to have a president that not only understands their specific school, but all schools, all communities, and all different people on this campus. And that's the role that I've been able to just really cater on here as chairwoman of the Senate, and hopefully as your next president, which is what I'm going to do.
Thank you for this question. Like I said before, being a first-generation college student came with a lot of difficulty my freshman year. I wasn't really able to have a legacy or a plan of how to navigate Howard as a student. So I definitely know that my role right now within school communications, being the vice president, I'm able to. Sorry, wait. Question.
Repeat the question. So basically, why have you chosen to run for this specific position out of all the positions you could have ran for, and why do students need you in this position right now?
So within my current position now of being the Vice President of the School of Communications, I've been able to implement the Freshman Council, which stands on the advocacy and the work that I wanted to do that I didn't see my freshman year, not having a mentor or not having a guide for Howard, and I was able to give that to the students of communications. So when they first come into the School of Communications, if student government is something that they want, they're able to have that path and move forward with that and these opportunities. So the next step for me, not wanting to do president again for the School of Communications, is to give the students and the communications the opportunity.
I'm going to stop you right there. Or we have to wrap up. All right.
Sorry. Thank you.
Next.
To be honest with you, I am scared. I'm scared of the future. I'm scared of the unknown. I'm scared that Howard's not living up to its full potential. As a freshman coming at Howard, you learn very quickly that if you see a problem, you have to fix it. So that started when me running for the CA Senate, when I saw that CA organizations were not getting funding and they were underrepresented. So when I stepped to the CA Senate, we increased CA organization funding by 200%. Secondly, this summer, when we saw that bikes were getting kicked out because of a glitch. So in the span of 6 weeks, I organized, coordinated, and executed a fundraiser that fundraised $10,000 for Bison in need. That kept Bison here at Howard. So now I'm here to become your president because now I see that students need more resources, they need more support, they need more opportunities. And the HUSA presidency gives you that pedigree to talk to these companies, to talk to the office of the president to make sure that we can truly execute on these initiatives. Thank you.
So I didn't start off, in student government. I started off as a student just trying to get by, trying to get my grades right, you know what I'm saying? But when I was able to be in the 64th HUSA administration my sophomore year, that experience changed everything for me. I was able to make so many new connections, meet so many new people, build so many new relationships, while also doing work that benefited the student body. When I was an exec, we were able to get over 400 people registered to vote, and that to me means a lot. Because voting is everything to me. And as someone who wants to be a lawyer, as someone who wants to run for the president of the United States one day, that is something that is important to me. And so I made sure that I advocated on behalf of that through those initiatives, as well as a newsletter which gave students access to information about things that were going on in our country. So now, why do I want to run for exec? The reason why I want to run for exec is because I see issues in it. I see that there's unproductivity between our branches, and I'm here to fix that. As someone who's been an exec before, I'm not here with the drama or anything like that. I'm literally here to make sure the work is getting done and that we're focused on the student body and fixing the issues that are affecting you on a daily basis. Thank you for that question.
Thank you for that question. 2 words, passion and love. Passion and love for the campus of Howard University. Coming on Howard's campus, fall 2023, it was a great big campus and a great big yard. The one thing that we wanted to do, myself and Rihanna, was cultivate change. Cultivate a community where you walk on the yard and you're embraced by your fellow Bisons, where you're embraced by resources that help you and deter you from your reason for being here, to graduate or for education. And that's what caused myself to run for freshman council vice president of co-op student council. That's what caused me not to stay in this environment, but challenge myself to grow in Senate, where I advocate for $6,000 for free LSAT, MCAT, jury prep books, where I went on to the co-op executive council and ensured we revamped and revitalized our largest college on campus, making sure we had a website to find internships, scholarships, your academic advisors, making sure we had events created by you, the student. We have a student here in the audience. Thank you so much.
Being a student leader for both Jeremy and I is not about power, it's not about being in a position, but as he said, it's about passion. You meet us here in the Howard University Student Association because we are passionate about you. We are here to make your student experiences better. Not only the people in this room, not only the people on campus, but off campus, graduate students, undergraduate students, all people who call themselves Bison deserve to be represented by students who are passionate about their everyday lives. That's why you need us in this position. Thank you for that question.
This will be my last general question before we get into specific questions for each position. This one's a little bit more of a lengthy one, and maybe a little bit of a spicy one, it depends. So the question is, Tensions between the HUSA executive branch and the Senate in past administrations, and especially this year, have at times limited the overall effectiveness of student government. Strong collaboration between these bodies is essential to delivering meaningful outcomes for students. How will you proactively build and maintain a productive working relationship with the Senate? And what specific structures or practices would you implement to ensure a consistent collaboration, communication, and accountability between the two branches? I'm going to start with the president.
Well, it's funny you say that. I believe the drama between HUSA exec and the Senate really started with women's confirmations, which I was the chair of, which I take full accountability for. It was definitely a situation of bad communication on both sides. And I'm here to say I'm sorry on behalf of the Senate side as well. But moving forward with that, I believe first 30 days, we're going to sign an executive order that says all branches must meet together at least once a month to have that conversation, sit in the same room, when we have those little conversations. But secondly, we have to respect each other. It's a level of respect that we all need to have for each and every other branch, because we all have to work together to make sure the student body is getting what they need. The student body does not care that exec is doing better than Senate. The student body does not care that Senate is doing better than exec. They just care that they're getting their resources, they're getting their support, and they're getting their opportunities. So yes, when we sign that first 30 days executive order to make sure we have that cross branch summit. Thank you.
That's a great question. When you love a university and are so passionate about the work, of course there may be tension. But when there's tension, there needs to be communication. When there's communication, there must be transparency. Serving a part of Colorado Student Council and being a former senator in the 13th administration, our biggest thing was communication and transparency. Making sure that we are jump-starting student government. That's part of our pillar about all in for the re-election experience. Ensuring there is communications with appointments and confirmations. We are appointing people in advance, but making sure that we are in agreement with the HUSA executive branch. Thank you so much for that question.
Yeah, so as chairwoman of Senate and someone that has served again in Senate since the past 3 years being at Howard, I've definitely seen that over time, as crazy as it might sound, the relationships have definitely gotten better in communication with Senate and HUSA executive branch. And we've definitely been able to do more collaborations this year than any other time that we have in the past 3 years that I've been here. I definitely think there's always more room for growth and definitely to build better and stronger relationships. But that definitely does start again with just making sure that we're meeting on a regular basis and also ensuring that our initiatives and work align together and finding ways that we can cross-collaborate on those initiatives and work. Senate, again, we write legislation, but it's always great to have executives that hear in the legislation, hey, we want to do this for the people that are XYZ. How can we get y'all to support this? How can we make sure that this comes into fruition? So have these conversations early on for these initiatives to ensure that the impact is big, ensure that our goals are all aligned is something that's very important. I think that the executive branch this past year did a great start with the all branches meeting. Great conversations have come out of that, and I look forward to continuing amplifying activities like that to ensure that not only Senate and exec have good relationships, but all branches and all student government and leaders also have great working relationships together.
Thank you all so much for those responses. Now we're going to go into the vice presidential specific questions. So my first question for the vice president. The vice president's role is sometimes misunderstood as a backup to the president. How do you define the purpose of your position within HUSA exec, and how do you collaborate with the HUSA president in order to get things done as a branch? I'm going to start with Robert.
Thank you for that question. So, wait, can you actually the first part of it?
First part of the question. So the vice president's role is sometimes misunderstood as just a backup to the president. How do you define the purpose of your position?
I would say to define the purpose of my position is to make sure that the initiatives that we plan are actually being followed through upon. That means that I need to be interacting with every director, every staffer, and making sure that we have a functioning and flowing relationship and a functioning and flowing amount of initiatives that are going out to directly help you. Now, I think it also comes down to like a thing of we're all here to get the work done at the end of the day, like all of us standing up here, but like at the end of the day, somebody has to do it, and that's what the vice president's role is as well, to help assist the president, make sure things are getting done, make sure that people are doing the work that needs to be done, and if it's not getting done, then I will do it myself. Because that's why I'm standing here for you today. It's for the student body. It's for us. We're all students at the end of the day, so I can relate to some of you, but I can't relate to all of you. And so I'm here to make sure I have this conversation. Thank you.
Yes, so as vice president, it's not just being the backup to the president, but it's just being the
I would say, the gateway and the communicator between the different branches in HUSA and their president. So that looks like building interpersonal communications with all the directors and all the staffers that are in these different departments, so they know who we are as leaders, because as a leader, it's not just something to put on my resume, but it's to lead with intention and to lead with grace as well. So building those interpersonal communication relationships with everyone that's in the different departments is going to be able to draft up strategic communication, effective communication, and obviously when my president is able to do something, I can step in knowing her roles and her duties. Thank you.
As I previously stated, partnership is something that's really integral to Jeremy and I as leaders, as friends, as all the things that we are. We know that Jeremy is going to be the president and I'm going to be the vice president if we're fortunate enough. But we work as partners. We're not separate people. Where there's departmental challenges, we both will be present. Where there's policy advancements that must be made, we both will be present. When there's departmental affairs across the entirety of the Howard University Student Association, not only Jeremy will be present, I will too. We work alongside each other in every aspect of our role, and we know that we've done that in the past and will continue to do that in the future. Thank you for that.
My next question for the Vice President. So beyond hosting events or programs or just fun, cute little things as the Houston Executive Branch, how would you define and demonstrate real success as a Howard University Executive Administration?
We have several initiatives and several platform points that are for you. One initiative that sticks out to me because of my passion to solve food insecurity on college campuses is Feed Our Herd Part 2. If you follow the Co-op Student Council, you will see that last semester we were able to feed over 2,000 students without dining dollars. If we are fortunate enough to be the Howard University Student Association President and Vice President, we will continue this initiative by bringing you dining dollars. Specifically, we have an initiative called the Senior Advantage that works with seniors specifically who live off campus and do not have access to meal plans and or dining dollars. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you for that question. Success. I know that a lot of times us as students at Howard get caught up in the Howard bubble. But under our pillar Access Forever, we really want to hone in on the post-grad security. So that looks like having initiatives that give grad schools to come to Howard University, having conversations already with admissions from the Boston College School of Law, because I am from Boston, and having them come in here telling us what do you need. If you want to go to law school, if you want to go to med school, just having these resources here in your face so that you're able to succeed. And that also looks like with Access Forever, giving you the resources that you may not know that are here at our very own Mecca at the Howard. I know that we're able to have computers if your computer breaks or if there's something unfortunate with your financial situation. So it's just making the resources that are not really widespread known to you. Thank you.
For myself and Peony, we would say that we're trying to bring opportunity. We're trying to bring external partnerships to Howard's campus. Now, we already see that there's issues when it comes to internal stuff, and that's why we're trying to get these external factors so that we can bring companies directly to you. So, under our Career Track initiative, we want to go visit different law firms, we want to go visit different companies, different banks, different, museums, whatever that may be that regards to your major, we want to visit it, and we want to hear from you. We want to hear where you want to go, and we want to make that possible by giving you access to shuttles to get there, by giving you resources, by putting you in places to meet people that will help you when it comes to post-grad opportunities and stuff of that sort. So, thank you.
This is my final question for the Vice Presidents. So as you all know, Youth Executive is one of the most sought out positions on Howard University's campus. And running for the position of Vice President is a huge responsibility. But why stop there? Why did you decide to run for Vice President instead of President? I'm just worth the president.
So the reason why I decided to run for Vice President and not President is because I understand that there are certain aspects of Youth Exec that I want to oversee, and there are certain aspects that he wants to oversee. If you all don't know, Youth Exec, usually the Vice President will oversee some departments and then the President will oversee others. For me personally, the ones that stuck out to me, the ones that I know I could see through and bring change to the most are the ones that I decided to, choose on, which is why I am the Vice President. But at the end of the day, we're both here to do the same amount of work. We're here to make sure we're benefiting you, and we're here to make sure stuff actually
actually gets done. Thank you.
This is a great question. Thank you for that question. The reason why I am ready to be your next HUSA Executive Vice President and not President is because as in my position of Vice President for the Catholic Youth School of Communications, I learned firsthand about myself that I do not like being the face or the forefront of organization or a franchise, but that I want to be able to be in control and still have the delegation of completing these tasks and creating the initiatives that get passed through and are successful. And I would say with my time being on council as Vice President, I've been able to do that, being the main backup person for my president, and being able to delegate the task, build these interpersonal communication and relationships with all my staffers and my directors, and just doing the work and still honing in on my initiatives that I want to do as Vice President, but not being the face so much, because I am a delegation person, a task-oriented person. Let's get this done, but I need to be the face and beyond all this. Thank you.
As I stated previously, Jeremy and I have a partnership that means even though he's president and I'm vice president, we are still equal. Me choosing to run for Howard University Student Association Executive Vice President does not mean that I was taking a step back. If anything, us running together was a step up. We understand that as Howard University students, we are needed in the front lines. We know that your experiences rely on us. So as a partnership, we do the same work. Thank you for that question.
Thank you also, Vice Presidents, for those responses. Now we're moving on to the presidents. My first question. The president often serves as a primary liaison between students and university administration. How you effectively advocate for students in conversations with university officials, particularly in moments of disagreement and resistance.
That's a great question. In moments of resistance or not agreeing with one another, the most important thing is finding the common goal. Finding what each branch, what each partnership wants to bring towards the student body. One thing specifically, one of our initiatives is HU, Where's the Flavor? A lot of student organizations feel as if the new partnership with Amark, they don't have enough options for food for, let's say, their cultural organizations. Working together with Senate, working with the next co-op council to ensure we have what the students need. They need food, they need housing. We need all of these things. As your next HUSA president and vice president, we're going to be going all in on these initiatives to support you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for that question. So I've been fortunate enough to make sure that throughout my past 3 years, I've been strategic in building relationships with administration from all different sectors of Howard University, whether that's the University of External Affairs, whether that's the Student Affairs Department, whether that's our Department of Alumni Relations, and all the things in between. I've been able to make sure that I'm in conversations with them on a monthly basis. We have a meeting actually with other student leaders as well as the president of the university, Dr. Evers, who's a part of the Student Affairs Department, as well as some other people in those rooms. We talk about student concerns, and we also find tangible ways to connect and actually get those find solutions to those concerns. And so one big thing that I know in the past that I've been able to do was, I'm not sure if many people are familiar, we lost a student due to a criminal road safety incident. His name was Muhammad Samora, right in front of Cook Hall. During that time, it was a lot of resistance from the university and not wanting to just really address that or really talk with students or work with students to ensure that this was a solution that we could come to together and figure out how not only can we honor him, but ensure that another life does not have to be lost for us to ensure that we're actually addressing safety here on our campus, which is one of our pillars. And so with just like meeting, being very persistent and persevering with our university, we were able to ensure that those roads right in front of Cook Hall were updated and safe, and we also have an annual celebration. Actually, we're celebrating this Saturday for Muhammad Samora, so shout out. Thank you.
Thank you for that question. So first and foremost, the private agenda's main focus is institutional change. It's good to be having these conversations with the Office of the President, but we gotta go a step further than that. One of our initiatives is to bring back the Student Board of Trustees slot. So we have a student in the room with the Board of Trustees making the most important decisions. When we get that kind of power back in the students' hands, the Office of the President and the Board of Trustees have no choice but to also listen to students again. Thank you so much for that question.
Questions in a second. Sorry about how many questions you've been asking. My next question for the president. With limited time and resources, prioritization becomes essential to the work of your administration. How will you determine what initiatives you should prioritize under your presidency? I'm sorry, the problem.
Can you repeat that question one more time?
So, with limited time and resources, prioritization becomes essential to the work of your administration. How will you determine what initiatives HUSA prioritizes under your presidency?
Thank you for that question. It's simple. We talk with the students. We don't tell the students what they want. We figure out we actually ask students what they want. I'm not here to tell you this is what you need. We're here to figure out what you want. So with that being said, the Prime Agenda's main focus is to do initiatives that continue on past our administration that can be built upon, not just being done by our administration as well. And that looks like what initiatives like the Student Board of Trustees slot. That's initiatives like the Inclusivity Council. That's initiatives like the Executive Order for all branch meetings. So like I said again, it's more so an institutional structure that we're trying to build. So I'm not too lenient. Sorry about that. That's a bigger question.
Yes, or I'm just going to get straight to the point. How will you determine what initiatives HUSA prioritizes under your presidency?
So I think it's twofold. One, having conversations, but also looking at the data because numbers do not lie. This past year when we worked with the Department of Research with sending in a lot of our initiatives, we looked at data statistics that highlighted that housing is always an issue and it's only increasingly getting worse with the different things that are happening on campus. Food insecurity is an issue that's only getting worse. Also, not many people are familiar with menstrual poverty and access to menstrual products for women here on campus is only getting worse as prices continue to rise with inflation as well and a lot of other things as well. So ensuring that one in hand, we are having a conversation with students. Like I said again, being a Senate chairwoman, being in Senate, we've had opportunities to meet with organizations. We have meetings with organizations, making sure that we meet with them on a monthly basis or bi-monthly, which works with their schedule. We're also ensuring that in this room to get the data and understand from the university perspective what's happening and how we turn those numbers into tangible impact to find solutions for our students. Thank you.
Thank you for that question. With the All-In platform, we have different initiatives that not will get done, but can get done. Our first priority will be housing. Making sure we are working with the Office of Residence Life as a fellow already to ensure that our second-year students are housed on campus. That's a big issue that has come up throughout this past academic year, but in addition to that, ensuring for housing and for traveling access, it's on us. Come on, we're all in. Get in. We're partnering with Lyft. Literally, we're partnering with Lyft and Uber services to ensure that you guys, the students, have safe and fair access to housing and to travel to and from your campus, which is implemented in our first 30 days of the academic year. Thank you so much for that question.
Very last question, and then we're going to move on to audience questions. So I'm going to start with Jar Ferber this time. The president holds significant influence through the appointments process for university-wide committees and other large roles on campus, whether that's judiciary or even the elections commissioner myself. How will you ensure that your appointees are not only representative of the student body, but also effective in influencing institutional decision-making?
Yeah, so I think a lot of times when we see with how people usually appoint people that they feel are fit for the roles, it's a lot of times, who's my friend, who helped me with my campaign, who am I going to make a deal with to get up in these roles? I just want to promise y'all that that's not how we're doing things. Again, we want to make sure that everything is fair and open to the wide student body. If you put an application in and you've maybe never been in a student government role that's been hired, maybe you don't have all the campus clout, but you get the work done and you have the stats, you will be considered, and we will ensure that you have a chance to just be seen as fair for the role as anyone else. So making sure that the qualifications are not closed, but they're open to all people, and then we're also doing outreach to very diverse group of people to let them know about the opportunities that are here on campus, because a lot of people come to me and they're like, girl, I didn't even know that I could do X, Y, Z. I didn't know the judiciary says. To make sure that we're doing the outreach and also ensuring that all people understand what they can do on campus and making sure that they are also considered fairly just as anyone else.
That's a great question. Serving as a former senator for the 13th administration and being on the Appointments and Confirmations Committee, helping with the 64th administration's onboarding, I know firsthand that it's very important that we have student leaders that are impartial, that are all about work. With our applications, we admire the 65th administration who had blind applications. It doesn't matter if a friend applies or a person that's just starting out applies. We have a home for you in All-In, ensuring that we meet all students are with us, not some that are already in government or others. We meet all of us. Join us. Thank you.
As someone who served on the chair of appointments and confirmation, it is important that we revamp the whole system for appointments and confirmation as well. And secondly, don't hire your friends. As we've seen many time and time again, HUSA has always promised that we wouldn't hire our friends, but every day we see that they hire their friends and not fit for the role, as I've seen on appointments and confirmations day in and day out. So most importantly, we need to open up the application to everyone, and we need to hire people who have done the work before, and simply that's don't hire your friends. Thank you so much.
Thank you all so much. Now, this concludes the moderated question portion of tonight's event. Now the audience will have an opportunity to pose questions to the candidates. And And for the audience members, oh, y'all already raising your hands. So just to be clear, for audience questions, please try to keep it as short as possible and also be respectful to the candidates as well with your questions. I will not accept any questions that are disrespectful to any of the candidates. Just want to make that clear.
All right, so I can ask this.
My question for you guys is, how do you plan to hold housing administration accountable even if they concern about maintenance and living conditions?
Can you ask that question a little bit louder, please?
How do you plan to hold housing administration accountable even if they concern about maintenance and living conditions?
That's a great question. For our platform initiative, All In for Housing, we have a point called Ain't Nobody Have Time for That. Essentially, with that initiative, is partnering with the Office of Residence Life to ensure every semester we're doing walkthroughs of each residence apartment and meeting their property managers. This means having open, effective communication to ensure issues and discrepancies with laundry dollars and lack of machines working does not happen anymore. We hope you answered your question.
Thank you for that question. What was your name? Ajwa. Thank you, Ajwa, for that question. First and foremost, about transparency and accountability. When we step into HUSA Exec, we'll be setting up a website with different initiatives and different transparency dashboards, such as the 72-hour Res Life response dashboard. When a student submits a Res Life concern, not only will it go to Res Life, but it'll also go to us. We'll put it on the dashboard, and they'll have 72 hours to respond to it. And if they do not respond to it in 72 hours, we will step in and go straight to administration on your behalf as well. Thank you so much for that question.
Thank you so much for that question as well. I think it's also really important to ensure that we're meeting with the people directly that are in the dorms, that are leadership representatives for the dorms as well. I know some dorms have councils as well as just like RAs that are really good contact points to understanding to have student needs kind of being directly catered or communicated with them. So ensuring like on a regular basis that we have points of contact within our different departments and our different people that are working in our staff to ensure that they're having working relationships on a monthly or weekly basis, whatever that looks like, to make sure that we're communicating and up to date on what's happening in these dorms, even though we might not be able to be there directly all the time, that we are understanding what's happening all the time to ensure that those voices and those concerns are being transferred into like tangible impact, not only with the building managers, but also university admin and all different segments as well. Thank you.
So, my question is, what specific change do you want students to feel at the end of your term?
Oh, y'all can volunteer. Sorry, Ashley said that.
Yeah, so I honestly want people to feel like student government and just like Howard is a place for them. As someone that has been a student government all 3 years of my life, I have sometimes felt like, oh my gosh, like even though like I'm in these roles, like it's not really for me because of like the scrutiny or just like the college times, just like the bullying that a lot of us face, just being women putting ourselves out there, or just being people that want to embark on change here at this campus. And so I wanted to make sure that like people know that regardless if you want to be in a forward-facing role, if you want to do change behind the scenes, whatever you want to do, that there's a place for you here on this campus that you can do work, and that you shouldn't let other people's opinions on you, false opinions as well, to change the direction of the work that you want to do and stop you from reaching your goals here on campus. And so that's what we want to do. Thank you.
Can you repeat the question one more time?
What specific change do you want students to feel at the end of your term?
One specific change I want students to feel is that HUSA not only supported them, but prepared them for life outside of Howard. At the end of the day, we did not come to Howard to just be good at Howard. We came to Howard to be good for the rest of our lives. And secondly, no one will support you more than the person sitting next to you and your fellow Bison as well. So that's the kind of change I want to see at Howard, is that you feel fully prepared going into the workspace as well. Thank you so much.
One specific change that we'd love for all Howard University students to feel at the end of our term is community. That was our first pillar when we came into College of Arts and Sciences, and we're so excited to be able to bring it to Howard University Student Association. We want Howard University students to feel loved, to feel cherished, to feel better than they came in before. We want all Howard University students to have the resources, opportunities, and access to leave Howard University feeling like the best version of themselves. Thank you for that question.
Hello everyone, I'm Shania Carter.
That's a great question. Thank you so much. Our biggest thing for our administration is communication. Making sure, as mentioned before, jump-starting student government, having conversations with your branch. Particularly the first conversation we'll have is regarding Vice Week. Ensure we're working together and we're not stomping over your toes or doing your job. Secondly, on our platform, we have initiatives in collaboration with your branch. We have Midnight Brunch with 66, inviting yourself as you partnered before this past last month on a Midnight Brunch, but also inviting other undergraduate student councils. Making sure collaboration and clear communication essential to our role. Asking you, how can we help you and how can you help us? All in. Let's go.
Thanks so much for that question, Tanaya. I think another really big point that you raised with that is that a lot of times we just don't have enough money for everyone to be doing their own separate things as well. As we've seen like this past year is that like a lot of times because we work in silos, we're not really serving student bodies in the best capacity that we can be. And so I think it is important to start off when we get our roles in the summer, make sure what are our plans for the year, how can we align our events together, and how can we best support each other in doing those. One of the big plans that we have me and Gael under our platform under Spirit Forever is revitalizing and revamping the Spirit buses, which we haven't seen in a few years, to ensure that students are able to come and support student athletes on their away games. It's also revamping just like pep rallies as well for students to have more spirit on this campus as well. And I think that'd be a great project to align ourselves with UGSA to ensure that we're not crossing or overlapping on the work that y'all are already being done or doing, but also just building working with y'all to ensure that they're in hands and y'all feel the most supported and make sure that those get executed correctly.
Thank you so much for that question. As Leah mentioned, we do have a lot of funds that go to the same thing, the similar events, and we want to make sure that we don't do that, so those funds can be used for different initiatives that go back to you. So what that means is having interbranch summits that are required. That means we're meeting from the summer for the rest of the year at least once a month, at least. Having those conversations, working with each other, and making sure that we're not overlapping on your work because y'all do amazing work at the end of the day. But yeah, as well as our campus inclusion calendar, to make sure that other organizations as well aren't doing repetitive events, or if they are, maybe giving them a gateway to work together on these events, collaborate, spend less money that can go right back to your pocket. Thank you for that.
Before we get to the audience questions, I do have a question from Instagram that I just wanted to ask real quick. Has your slate evaluated the graduate student experience and their needs across schools? And if not, how do you plan to? And then how do you plan to serve the student body beyond undergraduates as HUSA exempt?
Yes, thank you so much for that question. Our pillar for Safety Forever was actually inspired, one, by the tragic incident that happened with the road safety incident on campus, but also with our conversations with law students at the law school as well. So we worked really close this year with Law President Jake Smith on initiatives to start the first HBCU task force, safety task force, which we work with other HBCUs as well as admin and other external stakeholders to ensure that safety is a priority, that we are collaborating in to make sure that everyone feels safe on their respective campuses. And so they would have conversations with the law school. We've been talking to them now just about some of the things that they want to see for the future of just Howard University, as well as our medical school and our other graduate students as well, because a lot of times they just don't really understand HUSA and undergraduate stuff, because one of them literally said, we thought HUSA exactly was an undergraduate thing. Not a lot of them know that we even like can work in tangents together. So ensuring that we're also supporting our grad student senators as well and the work that they're doing. So it all starts with conversation, starts with outreach, and ensuring that they feel supported just as much as we want to support our undergraduate students as well.
Thank you for that amazing question. Our first priority on our platform is housing. A lot of times, as HUSA slates, we tend to forget that not only undergraduate students experience housing security, but so do graduate students. That's what our slate, partnering with the Department of Law Relations to ensure we have discounted prices for housing options for Howard University undergraduate, juniors and seniors, but also graduate students. Making sure it starts at the necessities, and that's us supporting that for you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for that question. Graduate schools face, I will not say bigger, but way bigger problems than undergraduate schools as well. Right now, after talking with undergraduate schools, they're not worried about initiatives or things of that nature. The College of Medicine is worried about losing their accreditation. The College of Dentistry is worried about passing their tests and becoming a dentist. The College of Law is worried about passing the bar exam. So it's all about having this conversation and transparency as well. It's about going to those counsel, respecting their opinion and doing what they say. Thank you for that question.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Anton Walker. I currently serve as CA Senator and Chairman of the University. Oh, sorry. Okay.
Yeah.
You guys hear me now? My name is Anton Walker. I serve as CEA Senator and the Chairman of the University External Affairs Committee for the Senate. My question is, how do you plan to offer adequate representation to smaller schools on campus?
Yeah, so I think, again, conversations are everything, and making sure that students feel like they have a place in regards to all the work that we're doing here on our campus and, again, with our initiatives as well. I think conversations can start very early. So, again, during the summer, when we see the leadership of people that are going to be copying these new roles, meeting with smaller schools like CEA, although they're big, they're still small representations, people that want to step up to the role. I know, specifically in Senate as well, it was really hard to get SOE and COPA to get their seat filled as well. So ensuring that students know that they have a place in their home here, and the work that we're doing, and then also the perspectives are being put to the forefront of the initiatives that we want to see as well. But again, it starts with conversations, it starts with outreach, and it starts with making sure that the work that we do makes it feel inclusive for all people, and especially our smaller schools as well. Thank you.
Thank you for that question. As someone from a smaller school, I do that every time that's a question. It's two things, really. It's about empowering the current structure we have right now in the Senate by empowering the senators that they bring permissible in their representation, but also going to them. We cannot just put stuff on Instagram because, to be honest, you're just not going to see it. Smaller schools will not care about big and interesting things because we don't have a big school. We need to go to said schools, talk with their councils, and speak with said students. Thank you for that question.
This specific concept is one of the main reasons why we decided to name our campaign All In. It's not just all in for co-ops. It's not just all in for CEA. It's all in for SOE. It's all in for SOC. All students on campus deserve to be all in. We know, as being the current president and vice president of the College of Arts and Sciences, sometimes the issue is money. We allocated over $30,000 to student organizations all around this campus. I guarantee that some of our money touched each and every one of you in this room in some way, shape, or form. We know that access is an issue, and we are guaranteed to be able to provide an all-in experience for all students on campus. Thank you for that.
My name is Cortland. I just had a really simple question. All of you have very bold ideas. How can you ensure to the student body that you're going to hire qualified, nominate qualified people to serve in the executive branch so we can see these bold ideas actually come to life on campus?
That's a great question. Thank you so much, Courtland. In regards to the all administration, as you mentioned previously, having and conducting blind applications. This means that even our council could apply. We wouldn't know it was them, and it wouldn't be on any previously notifications that we already know them. Making sure that everyone has all-in access. In addition to that, ensuring that we want the 15th administration of the Senate to make sure that the appointments confirmations process is live streamed and everyone knows about it. So every student, not just student leaders, knows who's going to be a part of the all administration. It shouldn't be a surprise. It should be a known fact who's going to serve you and how we're going to do it.
Thank you for that question. Alongside what Jeremy said, having the blind application so you're not knowing who exactly is applying for these roles, but also just their backgrounds. Having questions on the diversity that where they come from, and what they want to do and what they want to implement because of their backgrounds. I think that will be a pivotal point in the success of our bold ideas, making the initiatives come into life. Having diverse backgrounds and real life goals for why you want to do, like having a why for what you want to do, will upset the success of our initiatives. Thank you.
I would say as someone who worked in appointments and confirmations, I directly vetted and worked towards seeing if candidates were qualified for positions they were in. And I think that having a blind application, I love it. Like, it really is one of the best things that Howard could have done, because we don't want a cycle of the same student leaders in the same positions in the same spots. We want to open it up to the new class of freshmen coming in, the sophomores that maybe didn't get involved like I did till later on, or even just juniors too. It's never too late to start, and that's what we want our administration to show, because we want each and every grade level, each and every major, we want diversity, because we want to be able to hit direct issues that students are facing amongst all colleges and schools. Thank you.
I do have one more Instagram Live question I want to ask. This person asks, can you walk us through how you would approach a decision where doing what is best for the majority may unintentionally harm a minority group?
That's a great question and a very loaded one. We operate under the belief that if you're not scared, you're not growing. There will be a lot of decisions when it comes down to the state of Howard University that even our administrators are scared for what's going to be next. But it's our job as going all in to ensure you know what was the decision, why did we make it, and how it's going to impact the broader Howard University community. We're big on transparency and connection. Everything that myself make and my vice president, you should be aware of and know what went down into it to make sure you guys as the students, as our student body is well connected and knows what's going on. That's how we would address the situation with the issue.
Thank you for that question. I wish I could sit up in here and tell you that every decision we make will affect every student positively. But what I can tell you is if one decision doesn't affect everybody, the next decision will affect those single items that will not affect you. And secondly, data. We have to look at the data. If we're seeing that the numbers not lie. If we're seeing a problem is affecting one student and our solution is not fixing for others, the next step is to make sure that we compromise, and the next solution we make benefits those students as well. Thank you for that question.
I think it's really important to understand that there's no one-size-fits-all way to approach a solution or to find a solution for like a specific issue here on this campus. It's really important, again, like me and Gael said, making sure that our team is very diverse from all different perspectives and different backgrounds to our campus. Whether you're a student that's a first in here, whether you're an international student, whether you're a student that's facing financial insecurity, whatever it may be, that you have a place here on this campus and we have a place here within our team to ensure that the decision that we're making might only, they impact all people in a different way and that everyone can be impacted positively by the work that we're doing because we have a diverse approach and not one-size-fits-all to the approach that we're going to be taking for our different initiatives. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And just to let everyone know, we're going to take about 4 more questions and then we're going to go ahead and start wrapping up. Okay. Did you pick this up? Okay. In the back. Black. No, you're right there. Yeah. Can you speak up a little bit? Yeah, sorry.
We have already been talking to cultural organizations from this campus. We met with the Haitian Student Association, and one thing that they said that really stuck out to us is that a lot of times when it comes to cultural events on this campus, we like to group people in together. All Africans are not the same, all Caribbeans are not the same, all international students are not the same. And so I think it's very important to make sure that we're having our catered events and our catered initiatives that are very catered to the specific needs of each group. We've also been in conversation with the Muslim Student Association as well. Happy Ramadan to all that celebrate. But making sure that we're having conversations with them about their distinct needs on campus because they are a big group. And also our small groups as well. The Nepali Student Organization, they celebrate their specific initiatives as well. So it starts with the conversation that we have and understanding that not all people that are fit under this bubble of being culturally and cultural groups like that they're not one size fits all, that they're all very unique and different, and approaching these different initiatives through understanding that through that lens. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much for that question. I think it boils down to 2 things. One is that representation matters, and 2 is that non-traditional students are students too. We've had so many conversations with cultural organizations, the Transfer Student Association, and different organizations on campus that are working towards making the opportunities and resources for non-traditional students on campus matter. If we're fortunate enough to be Howard University Student Association President and Vice President, we're going to continue to do the same work that we've been doing with the College of Arts and Sciences. With our partnerships with organizations like the Caribbean Student Association, Tropical Rhythms, with the Transfer Student Association, we recognize that there are so many different opportunities and resources accessible for all students on campus. And we recognize that they might not have the accessibility that we might have. So just understanding that different students have different experiences and reflecting on those as well will be the most important thing. Thank you for that question.
One of the most important things for leaders is to be smart enough to know you don't know everything. So for 2 things we'll be doing to make sure everybody feels represented is one thing is first that we get cultural liaisons from each and every different organization. Secondly, after talking to these different organizations, is that they need resources to execute the stuff they want to execute. We're not here to tell them what to execute, we're just here to make sure to support them to make sure they can do what they want to do and what they want to do. Thank you so much for that question.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Michael Douglas. I am a junior political science and criminology double major from Raleigh, North Carolina. And my question is, how do you intend to be held accountable by either yourselves or the student body if it is seen that you are failing to deliver on your campaign promises?
Thank you for that question. So one thing that we plan to do is team up with the Hilltop, where they will come and investigate our administration. They will be able to report on what we're not doing, what we're not getting done. If we are getting the things that we promised them, we want to make sure that we're being held accountable to the fullest extent, and that means bringing in a non-biased entity. So that means coming in maybe every once in a week or so, hey, what are y'all doing? Report on us. And even with the Bison Brief, which is what we're trying to do, bringing back that newsletter, getting information out to the students, and being as transparent as we can about our platform, our campaign, our administration, and the work that we're getting done. Thank you for that question.
Thank you for that question, Michael. Our biggest thing is transparency. With our platform initiative, your HUSA, your team, it's going to be making HUSA digestible for you as the students. Not only having us report on our platform tracker, but making sure you guys, the students, know where we've fallen short, what are we doing well on, but also not only reporting out to you guys, but having you reform where you can state how do you want to add to the platform. Being president and vice president of the Co-op Student Council, we were never too shy from adding to our platform. We added the Timeless Compass, which had 25 plus majors and requirements and the major schemes. We added support for HISA organizations, having HISA pickup. We're not afraid to add on, we're not afraid to make sure we hold accountable as your next HUSA president and vice president. Thank you for the question.
So constitutionally, vice presidents of every council and branch are supposed to be present at Senate meetings to present on the work that they're doing. Not many people do that consistently. As a Senate chairwoman, I saw that. And it is disheartening to ensure that we are presenting and being very transparent and holding ourselves accountable on the work that we're doing. But also that's a great time for us to be public facing to people, because the only branch usually that, and some councils do, but that does have very public facing meetings is the Senate. So a lot of times, like, the work that we're doing is behind the scenes, and it is very important that we are in public places like that, talking about the work we're doing, but also opening the floor to feedback and also critique from students and hearing from them how the work has impacted them and how we can always do better. I think it's also important to ensure that with the meetings that we do have, and the initiatives that we do have, we have open forums for students to sit down with us. We meet them where they are. We talk about what we're doing, but also, hey, how does this impact you? How can we do better? And how can we continue to strive to make sure that Howard's a place that you want to continue to be at forever? Thank you.
What specific initiatives in the current HUSA administration do you consider successful, and how do you plan on expanding the impact of said?
This is a great question. One initiative that's very successful of the current HUSA administration that we love very much is them working in communication with the Office of Student Affairs and President Wayne Bedrick on a pilot program to ensure we can have UGL for 24-hour use. This means we should plan next year to be opening up to ensure that during final season and midterm season, we go around and see how these 600 hours do work to let's say possibly finding possible routes for us to have permanent 24-hour housing and UGL on campus. So that's what the next institute has done that we want to support.
So the HUSA 65th administration did a phenomenal job at securing housing for our international students and those that were also facing financial hardships as well for the winter break. That's a very challenging time for people that might not be able to find a way to find housing during that time or might not be able to go home. And so I think that that's a great starting place and something that we would love to continue to expand, but also institutionalize. Not only is this only just on student leaders to ensure that we're getting students housing, but also holding our university administration and external stakeholders also accountable and ensuring that we can expand this project not only to just international students, but also students that maybe just be facing financial insecurity, but may not even just have a safe place to go to home. So ensuring that we're also continuing the great work that they did with that and expanding it. So phenomenal program, and I definitely would love to see it expanded within our administration. Thank you.
Thank you for that question. We plan to just simply, again, have conversations, being in those rooms, go into the dorms ourselves if that's what we have to do. And one thing that we really liked was how the 65th administration was sending representatives to go talk on behalf of students that were facing issues when it came to housing. That's really important. If you can't advocate, at least if we know how to go about it, we can do that and make sure that what you need to get done can get done. Thank you for that question.
think a lot of times, just because of just the things that I've experienced in student government, it is so easy to just want to throw in the towel and give up and just be like, this is a lot. Between like the endless like long night meetings, between like again like public scrutiny and like a lot of the backlash that we face, and just like maybe not always doing it perfectly or showing up in a way that maybe is the most appealing for everyone, it can be very hard, and a lot of times like it makes me feel like is the work that I'm doing doesn't even matter. But I think because of that and those different experiences that I faced and the conversations I've had with other freshmen, or just different people from different backgrounds and perspectives, I think it's really enhanced my why wanting to show up and know that I'm doing this for just someone like not only me, but even the people that that I might not see on a day-to-day basis, the people that maybe that we don't really see or we talk about a lot of times in initiatives and work that we want to do. So I think my why is really increased to just being something that the work is something more beyond me, and it's something that I continuously want to show up for to make sure that I'm making an impact for the students all across campus as well. So it's something just been strengthened through just like the hard work, and I'm excited to be able to continue that to show up for people.
I definitely have had several personal experiences since my freshman year on campus that have changed the trajectory of my life. I think specifically I came from a small town in Orlando, Florida, where nobody goes out of state for college, all the way to Washington, D.C. to Howard University. And I felt a little lost when I first came on campus. I didn't know that student government was so serious. I didn't know that we needed to start campaigning before I even graduated high school. I didn't know these things. So I came on campus a little bit unsure of myself, and it took me a little bit longer to find my step in student government. But I think that those experiences matter too. You don't have to start student government your freshman year to want to make an impact your junior year. And I'm a representation of that experience. Thank you for that.
Thank you for that question. So as we mentioned, it can actually get really bad. Like it'd be long nights, it'd be hard work, tears, okay, like literal tears, breakdowns. But it's all worth it when you see that, even if it's just a small group, when you see that you impacted them in some way, shape, or form. Like everything that I've done on this campus, I've seen the impact and I've seen the smile, and that means everything to me. That's what I want to continue to do. The reason why I want to run for president of the United States one is because I want to make real change on a countrywide level. So here, this is my stepping point to that. This is me putting myself out there and really doing my best with this student body, and that means talking with you, knowing you, and loving you. Thank you.
Let's see. One more question. Make sure it's a really strong one and good one in on the money.
Okay. So my question is, the Howard administration is largely understaffed in several key offices that you mentioned, such as alumni relations and even press life, and also including Title IX. In these offices, there are only around 4 people that are non-students that officially work. What in your platform specifically, keyword platform, I don't want platitudes, help ensure that these administrative lackings don't hinder your student actions?
Repeat that one more time. It was
So in several key offices such as Title IX, Alumni Relations, or Res Life, there's really only around like 4 staff members working in those offices. What in your platform specifically is going to help ensure that these administrative lackings aren't going to hinder your student actions?
Thank you so much, Joshua. That's a great question. We would say for being all in for our campaign, one thing for administration we want to do is jumpstart administration. We know that once we are elected by the people's vote, it's going to take time for, let's say, them to put through new students in Bison. It's going to take time for class registration. It's going to take time for financial aid and FAFSA, making sure we're asking those uncomfortable questions and making sure we're advocating for the students. One experience we do have with this work on our staff administration is a food call specifically for all of our majors. As you guys may know, within your colleges, there's a shortage of classes. Within the College of Science Student Council, we had communicated with every single department chair to ensure that shortage was not there on Bison High. Always working ahead and not working behind. We hope we answered your question.
Thank you so much for that question. I'd say specifically under our pillars, under our platform, housing and safety, we talk a lot about working with external stakeholders as well and changing with the university to ensure that work is getting done. A lot of times, the problems that I faced this year with getting stuff done was that the Howard University administration alone cannot get stuff done by themselves because sometimes maybe they just don't have the access or the resources, just feasibility to do it like you said. And so like I talked about earlier, we're getting the preventable road safety incident addressed and also make sure that those updates are made by cut off and speed bump the signage and all that stuff. stuff. It took working with the ANC, our Advisory Neighborhood Commissioner. It took working with the Department of Transportation, DC, and it also took working really close with the mayor's office as well to ensure that we were building those relationships, to ensure that Howard is also in the conversation, but we're also working with external stakeholders to get stuff done as well. So that's our promise to y'all. We've been building relationships with our external stakeholders, whether they're embassies, whether it's DC Department, whether they're nonprofits, to ensure that Howard alone is not solving, or their hands are not only the ones that can be able to solve problems, but we're also bringing additional resources to ensure that things can get done, but also ensuring the longevity of it as well. So ensuring that we're working with our external stakeholders, a tongue twister, and making sure that we're utilizing our resources well with them. Thank you.
Thank you for that question. Two things from our platform that are really going to help is first the shadow network, the alumni shadow network, which bridges alumni with students. Because you're right, administration is not always going to be there to help students what they can do. However, alumni who's been here, who's been in our shoes before, are going to be the best person to get advice from. And with the alumni shadow work, we'll be connecting students with alumni who can really help them in the field of their study or whatever problems they have arising. But secondly is the student board of trustees spot, which gives the student a seat right directly at the highest governing table at Howard, which will give us the opportunity to see what's wrong and not just let them make decisions without the students saying. Thank you for that question.
Thank you all so much. That's all the questions that we're going to be taking tonight, unfortunately. And this now concludes the audio special portions of tonight's event. First, before we get into the final announcements, can everyone give a huge round of applause to all the candidates? They did an excellent job answering all the questions that the commission had for them, that the audience had for them. So we really thank you all so much for coming here and speaking to the body up there. Just to give some couple more announcements as we close out tonight's event. Before you leave, can you check out over there. We have some giveaways that we're going to be giving out this election season, and we want to have an incentive for students to participate in events like this. So the more events that you show up to throughout election season, the more opportunities you can get some of the items we have for giveaway. I'm not going to tell you what the items are yet, so you have to figure that out. But please check out before you leave. Just to let y'all know, the speakouts for tomorrow include the senators and also the board members as well from the other schools like HUSA, SOB, SOC, and so on. So please show up to those as well to hear from them, hear those candidates, and hear what they have to say. And yeah, that's pretty much it. But on behalf of the commission, thank you all so much for coming, and I hope you all have a good and blessed week. Thank you all so much.
What did you do to save it? Sorry, I don't know. And my